can start the session. Okay, so good afternoon. I just done my video for a very brief while. So I'm Karthik from the course support team. I think you would have seen Ram in the last session. So myself, Ram, and Omkar Joshi. So three of us will be uh, acting as your mentors, come instructors for this particular course, right? So I'll now turn off my video and turn it on whenever we have some kind of interaction and we are not coding. Okay. So as you would have seen, this is a solve with us session. So every week Tuesday we'll have this solve with the session where we'll be doing what is called practice test problems, right? So the name is kind of might seem arbitrary, but the idea is to treat these problems as some kind of a test, right? So we release the problem, say an hour or two before the session, and then we go through each problem, right? So that is the idea. This is non-graded activity, so you won't be graded. So if you notice the due date is 31st May, by which time you would probably be in the next term, right? So they are non-graded, and this is for your practice basically. Okay, is the audio still noisy? Yes. Is my sorry. Okay, one second. I just reconnect my video. Okay, is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so there was some issue, I guess. Okay. All right. So I just repeat what I just said in case some of you have joined late or were not able to catch it properly because of the audio issues. So practice tests will be a sequence of non-graded problems, programming problems, similar to what we call PPAs, right? And there'll be at least 5 problems for the first 5 weeks. We'll have these practice tests, and then the number of PPAs will be sufficient enough to keep you engaged throughout the week. So this activity will continue every week on Tuesday. Okay, so that is what this live session is all about. So I'll just tell you what the protocol is going to be. We'll take up each
Yeah, sir, one request is that if this practice session could be done in evening time, it will be helpful to us because we all are working in an organization. So
yeah, but see, unfortunately, there are many courses and all courses have the same requirement, right? So At least one session will have to be in the evening.
Or either in Saturday, Sunday, it will be helpful, sir.
Yeah, but that's the point I'm saying, making, right? So many courses are there in the program, and all of them have the same requirement, right? So we will see what can be done if it can be rescheduled in some way or the other. But yeah, we'll try to see what can be done.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so the way we are going to do it is I'll open a Replit on the side, and for each of these problems, I'll request one of you to code live, right? So I'll send an invitation to you. Okay, so one of you has to volunteer. You have to code live, and then we'll copy the code back here and see if it's working fine, and we'll proceed that way, right? So this will be the procedure or the protocol that we'll follow for all the problems in the session. Okay, so we'll start with PT 1.1. You have to print this pattern. Okay, so seems like a fairly simple problem. Would anyone want to volunteer?
I can do that.
Yeah, so any volunteers, can you paste your name in chat? I'll send you an invite and then we can. Okay, Ajay Kumar. Ajay, I'll send you an invite and then you can code live. Okay, so
Oh, do I need to open the replit?
yeah, you have to.
Okay, just give me one second.
Yeah, so I've sent you the invite, Ajay.
Yeah. How can I see that?
Zoom chat. So Zoom chat, I have sent you the invite. You have to.
Oh, okay. Just I need to click on that link.
Yeah.
It is asking me login. Just give me one second.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Hello, sir. Just one suggestion. Please try to close the session by 4 because we have another session exactly starting at the 4.
Yeah, sure. So I will mostly complete all 6 problems by then. In case there are like some other students who are not having that 4 o'clock session, maybe for 10 minutes it may extend. Right? So you can drop off at 4.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Sir, should I say confirm or cancel? I mean, it gave me some message like replit needs your permission to enable.
Yeah, just confirm. It's be fine.
Not taking. Can I say cancel for this? It is not taking up, even if I press the confirm.
I just press, that should probably work.
Can I press cancel? Then maybe.
Yeah,
or,
I don't think that should be a problem. You can press.
Okay. Yeah, I canceled it.
Sorry, sir. I just joined a bit late. So is there a specific link for attending this session, like Solvitus? Like before we had peer deck. So is there any specific link for this session?
No. So for Python, it'll all be on the portal mostly because it's coding, right? We'll just be coding on the portal or
Okay,
on
sir.
Replit.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir. I'm typing. I think you can see that. Right?
Yeah. So yes, Ajay. So what I request you to do is to also talk as you code, right? So you can tell the audience what you are doing, what you are trying to do.
Yeah, sure. So here we need to print the number 1 to 1 with the space. So I mean, for that maybe if we give like 1 comma 2 comma 1, so by default that Python will take will print as a space. So that is like a separator. That default is a space for separator. So I will just show you for first line. So probably. Yeah, see, now it is coming. So similarly, we need to type for all these lines. That is what I'm thinking, sir. Or do you have any other method?
No, please go ahead. So you just
Yeah.
go ahead, complete it, and then we can discuss.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, right. So this is the answer that Ajay has given us. So what we'll do is we'll go and execute this in our portal.
Yep.
Okay, so this is the code. Let us test run it. So it passes. There's only one test case. So that is the same private and public test case. So this is kind of a very trivial problem, but still. Okay, so that's one solution. Now what we'll do is, does anyone have some other solution which you can share in the chat? So what you can do is you can paste your, so Abhinash, you can maybe paste your code in the chat. I'll copy it and show it to the others.
Yeah, using strings also we can.
Okay.
So, sir, one question I have. Before session only, you are going to release this practice test, or can we? Can we have this practice test before this? At least one day before this live session.
See, there are,
how it will be?
Ideally, we want to release it just before the session because there will be that element of surprise during the session. But I also get the point that if it is released before, a lot of you can practice it and save some time. So it's kind of tricky. We'll have to take a call on that. Yeah, so I'll just copy some other solution. So Pankaj, for instance, has given this solution. So this is another valid solution where you directly print one string at a time, right? So 1 to 1, 1 to 3 to 1, right? So this is another valid solution. Okay, so that is the second solution that we have seen. Let me see if there are any other solutions that have been shared. Okay, so I think along the same lines, so Subuddha Ghosh has mentioned a variable method, right? So that can also be done. So how will you do using variables? If you really want to stretch it, I could say A equal to 1, B equal to 2, C equal to 3, right? Or maybe just say A equal to 1 and A plus 1, comma A, right? So I could, just for the sake of making it a little more complicated, I could say this is A plus 1 back to A, and 1, 2, 3 to 1 will be A plus 1, A plus 2, A plus 1, A, right? So because there are like a number of variations that you could have on this particular problem. Yeah, so Kavita has a solution which is different from what we have seen, probably the third solution. So can someone tell me what method this is using? So what is happening here?
Concatenation.
Concatenation.
So this is
string concatenation.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is string concatenation. So just to quickly summarize, are there any other solutions? Yeah, so there seem to be these many. So first one we saw was using the print functions default separator, right? So by default, when you use the print function and try to print two different items, it adds a space as the default separator. So that was the first method. The second method was to print, so print the string directly, right? So for example, I just add the example here, 1, 1, 2, 1. And the third method used string concatenation. Namely 1 plus space plus 2 plus space plus 3, right? So this would just be print of 1 comma 2 comma 1. So what I'm doing here is I'm just summarizing the 3 methods that we just saw, and I'm listing down the first line of the solution for each of these methods. All right, I hope this is clear. So
Yes,
we'll
sir.
stop this problem here, right? Because we have more interesting things coming up. Yeah, so moving on. Okay, so the next problem is about, you need to design a simple piece of code where you need to determine if the student's roll number is from the data science branch or not, right? So this is the format of a roll number branch code, right? Year of joining. So this the student joined in 2018, and B represents say BTech. If it is M, it might be MTech, but it's a single character. Last 4 numbers represent the roll number, right? So just like what roll numbers you have, I think the last 4 numbers represent your unique roll number given at them, right? So you need to determine if a student belongs to the data science branch or not. Okay, so DS is the code for data science. Now I request someone to volunteer. Someone else. Okay, Abhinash. Okay. Okay, so Abhinash and Rishabh. So one raised one's hand, the other. Okay, so now I'll go with Abhinash. Maybe Rishabh will go with you for the next problem. Okay, I'll just share the invite link.
Hello.
Yeah.
So actually, I have joined now. Actually, that Zoom meeting link is not accessible for me.
Okay, so you have
Like,
to.
it was not accessible. That can you just tell?
Sorry.
Yes, sir. Means, can you just tell me like what is the things that I have to do like till now?
No, you just have to log into the portal and look at this section called practice tests programming. That is, we are discussing problem 2 there.
Okay, we are discussing now problem 2, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Got it.
Okay, so yeah, so I just copy this and paste there, Abhinash, for you. You can now start.
Yes, sir. So is it visible now? Am I typing something?
Your blue cursor is there. Can you type R? You have typed R. All right. So if you can speak as you code, that will be very helpful for the audience.
Yeah, so as per the question, the input is something like branches first, then I think there is year, then there is some BTech, and there is the final roll number. So we are asked to find out whether a student with a roll number belongs to a data science branch. So the easiest way would be to check the first character of the string is D and second character of the string is S. So simply what I'll be doing is print R of 0 equal to D and just use AND operator, R1 equal to S. So if I just run here, let's say if I type DS, and rest I'm just typing something else, just first the example check. So it's true.
All right. Right. So what we'll do is we'll test this here in our console, rather in our portal, and see if it passes all test cases. So it passes the public test cases, and if you submit this, it's going to pass all the private test cases as well, right? So this is one solution, a correct solution. So now I'll shift to the portal and we can discuss variations on this theme. Let me look at the chat. So yeah, so okay, so no week 2 concepts. Anything that doesn't use week 2 is welcome. So this is one solution by Ayush and Priyanshi, and many of you have given this particular. Okay, I'll take Ayush and Priyanshi. Both of you have given the same code essentially, but there is a slight difference which I would like to highlight. Okay, so both represent the same solution. This is solution 1, so rather 2.1, solution 2.2. So what was this was 1, right? So this was the first solution we had. Okay, I'll call this solution 1. So what is the difference between 2.1 and 2.2?
Variable name.
Okay, variable is different. So does it matter?
No.
No.
That double quote and single quote in DS.
Single quote.
Okay, so that is maybe a minor difference. Okay, so let's convert both of them to
Yes, I mean,
single quote.
they
So yeah.
the work same.
Okay, so technically they are the same. So there is nothing different between these two. But I would encourage all of you, especially as the weeks go on, to use variable names like this, right? So for example, I don't know what n is, right? Usually I reserve n for natural numbers or positive integers, right? That is typically, if I look at n, right, it immediately you think about a number, right? So maybe size of classroom or whatever it is, right? But I cannot associate any such thing with this word roll, right? Roll to me quite obviously means roll number, right? Or something very similar, right? So variable naming is important, very important. It may seem trivial now, but please try to use meaningful variable names, right? Okay, so getting back to the solution, the only difference between 1 and 2 is that one uses, okay, so what does one use? What concept does one use? Can someone comment on what string concept?
Indexing.
String slice.
So this is
It is the
index.
index
Correct.
number.
Index.
And solution 2 uses?
Slicing.
String slicing.
Okay, so
Slicing or string.
yeah, so this is using indexing and this is using slicing. All right, so I think we are all clear on that. So let me add a solution 2.3. Okay, so that is, so is this any different from 2.1 and 2.2?
No.
No.
No, right?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Because
All right.
No,
it
sir.
is starting from 0 and 2. Yeah, both are
Right.
same.
So this is
Both are same.
again another thing that we all need to keep in mind. Okay, so now that I think we're all clear about this. So what we'll do is we'll do a variation of this problem. And
Can we do like a reverse indexing from A and means?
yeah,
That
so
can be also a solution.
yeah, so I'm coming to that, but in a different light. So now what I'm asking you to do is extract the unique roll number of the student. Okay, so how would you do that? You want to extract, say, roll number is BR18B7135. Now, what code should I write to extract the unique roll number of the student? So the last 4 digits.
What?
Print roll.
Okay.
Okay, roll.
-4 till and we can leave it.
Okay, so this is one solution, right? Anything else? Any other way of slicing the string that will give us the unique roll number?
5 to 8.
Instead of
5 to 8.
-4, we can write
We
6.
can do in positive, sir. 0,
5
1,
to 9.
5 to 8. 5 to 9.
Okay, so do I need the 9?
No, we don't need.
No,
Not
sir.
really.
not necessary.
No, not necessary.
All right. Okay, so that is it, right? So this is all you need to know with respect to slicing and indexing, right? So yeah, now we'll go to the next problem. I think someone named Rishabh. Rishabh, is it? Someone had volunteered last time.
Yeah, sir.
Okay, Rishabh Kumar, right? So I will
Yes,
send
sir.
you the link. Sorry. Yeah, where are you? Okay, yeah. Okay, so just while you join, this is some kind of a story kind of a scenario where you have someone is trying to crack a case, and it all depends on the registration number of a vehicle, right? And you want to determine if the registration number contains the string TN07 or not. Okay, so that's the whole idea of this question, where you have to determine if the registration number contains TN07 or not. So that's the statement of the problem.
Yeah, sir. I have joined.
All right, yeah. So you can now start. I have given you the sample registration number just to get you started. So if you can speak as you code, that will be good.
Yeah, sir. First of all, I will introduce one variable, that's n. N is equal to that. Let's write a string type, and see, or else we can remove a string. That's just write input and this double one, and that's print. Now we can, what is, just we can print 4, and we can, I don't know.
Okay, so you need to slice a string, but you don't have a string at all, right? In that third line.
Yeah.
So how do you slice that string?
Just we type in.
Okay.
Now I think it will work. Yeah. Just I type, copy it, the sample, and paste here. This I will get.
Okay. But is that what the question is asking you? Question is asking you if you have this, if that registration number contains TN07.
Oh, that's inputs. Then we should compare with TN07. That's compare double is equal to, and we can give TN0. TN07. Now it will show the result.
Okay, all right. So what I am going to do is I'm going to copy this code and I'm going to paste it here. You just observe what happens and tell me why it is happening. right? Since this is your code, I want you to answer and not others right away. Okay, so it is passing all public test cases, but if I click submit, it is passing only 4 out of 5 private test cases. Okay, you are
Yeah,
missing
sir.
out on one. So where do you think that could, what do you think could be the problem?
That's what I am not also understanding.
Okay.
Why one is not passed.
All right. So now can someone else comment on why the?
Sir, I have pasted my
Yeah.
code. I think it's passing all the test cases.
Yeah, but can you tell me what is wrong with this or what is missing?
So it is only checking the last 4. There are also first 4 characters which are like alphabets and numbers. So we have to also check that as well.
Okay, how will I modify this then?
You have to check the first 4 digit like n, whatever is existing, equal to this, or n 0 colon close bracket equal to tn07. Not 4, not 4,
No,
not
it's
4,
already
not
there,
4,
so-
not 4, sir. It should not be 4. It should be 3, I think. 0, 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
So
No.
two indexing, I think from 0 to 4 and 4 to 8.
0 to 4, sorry, 0 to 4, right.
5 to,
right.
yeah.
Either empty to 4 or 0 to 4, right.
Yeah, 4 colon and then you can leave that.
0 colon
Yeah,
4
4
or empty
column
colon 4. Yeah.
can leave that.
Leave
yes.
it, yeah, you can leave.
And that to be equivalent to TN07, both cases.
4, okay, yeah, right.
Okay.
4, not 4, no? It should be, it should be 4, right?
It should be 4.
Yeah, it should be 4. It should be 4.
Yes.
Okay, let's run it. Okay, so we have passed all test cases. So that was the mistake, or rather a small thing that was missing in the earlier code, right? So instead of doing, if I want to say last 4, so what can I do? How will I change this?
-4 till you can use negative.
Right, so this is negative indexing. So again, suggestion, please take this seriously. Don't use n, right? So I mean, it is easy to use variable names like n, a, b, c, d, single digit numbers, but use something like this. So we are talking about a registration number here, so use regno, right?
Right, sir.
Right, so it takes more time to type, but it is always
more clarity should come on this.
Yeah, so we'll just make sure it works and then move on. All right, okay, so that is first 3, I think, were very simple. So
right, sir.
We'll move on to.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yeah.
Sir, I'm not able to find the PT in my portal.
You have to refresh. Just try to refresh once. It'll show.
Okay.
KPT 1.4. Does anyone have any questions till problem number 3?
Excuse me, sir. Just repeat the last one, the last problem. Yes, I get confused why you written -4 colon up to the last.
Yeah, so the reason is it could either be the first 4, TN07 could be in the first 4 characters of the string, or it could turn up in the last 4 characters, TN07.
Okay.
So -1, -2, -3, and -4. So it starts at -4 and ends at the last index.
Okay, so if you are writing negative, so it comes from last 4.
Yeah, it comes from the 4th character from the end. Is it clear now?
Yeah, but if it is at the beginning, first 4, then we have to write colon n4, no? 0 to 4, like that.
Yeah, so the convention is that not convention, but the way Python works is that if you have a string, let's say A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, so word of 0 to 4 is the same as word of colon 4. So if you ignore or if you omit the first index, that defaults to 0. Likewise, if you omit the last index, that defaults to the end of the list. Sorry, end of the string.
So it considers the sixth statement consider the last 4 digits.
It can last 4 characters of the string.
Last 4 characters of the string.
EFGH in this case. So that is what this will represent.
Okay, thanks. That's clear.
All right. So
sir,
Sir,
PT 1.1 is sir from week 1 or from week 2?
It is from week 1.
Okay, sir.
So 1 stands for week 1 and this stands for problem number.
Okay, sir. I think, sir, it came after some week 1 has launched, release, sir. It took, I did not see that practice problem, sir. I suddenly see after when you programming that, sir.
Only now only today we released.
Okay, sir.
So the idea is we'll release it during the or just before the session. So it will be like there should be some surprise element in the during the session. Otherwise, you would have solved the whole thing and when you come to the session, it might be a bit boring. So
okay, sir. Okay, sir.
All right. So the next problem is to accept 2 integers and get the modulus absolute value of the difference of the 2 numbers, right? So a simple problem statement, but quite hard if you think about using just week 1 concepts. So who wants to volunteer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, your name?
Sumit this side, Sumit Chauhan. Okay, so problem statement is yes, sir. Can we move to the problem statement first, please?
Sir, I have doubt did you take the doubts of PPAs after the session?
I think we'll have enough time after the session. After the 6 problems are done. So we'll have to do something until 4 o'clock, right? So I can answer some questions then.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Now.
Okay, so so you'll be accepting these numbers on 2 lines. Okay, so that is given, that is not given, but
Yes. Okay, so we can directly put it like print. Okay, I will go with the simplest form first. So let's take a number A equals to.
So can you come on this Replit and I sent you the link.
Okay, sir. Let me see. Link is where? Got it.
I sent you.
Yeah, got it. Coming, sir.
Sir.
Yeah.
The answer can be in float, sir. If we subtract 8 minus 9, sir, if I subtract 8 minus 1, it can be, sir, minus 1.0. Can be written
it should be the absolute value of the difference.
Yes, sir, it's 1. Sir, it types my I think I can solve by float, converting to float. In my mind, I have some code. I can convert into float, sir, then.
Okay, we'll see. Let since.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah.
I wait.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I whom did I invite? Who is actually typing?
Sir, Sumit.
Sumit.
Yeah.
Please go on.
So, yeah, we can go with the like.
here's the trick. You should not use ABS, right? ABS.
Okay. Okay. Fine. So we can
You should
go
not
with
use if-else statements also, because we are in week 1. Of course, I mean, it's might be a ridiculous restriction, but no
So
if-else.
which question are we doing here?
We are doing the 4th one.
So sorry?
Number 4.
Programming assignment 1.
PT 1.4. So if you
PT 1.4.
Yeah.
Okay. So no if else and no absolute, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me give a thought, sir.
So may I try?
No, we'll give some more time. So I think
okay, sir.
Smith can take some more time.
So how do I mean, connect myself to this Replit thing?
That is on an invite basis. So one of you, if you volunteer, I will invite you.
Sorry, sir?
It's on an invite basis. So I will invite you and then you can join.
Right.
We need to put without if else as well. Okay, we can go for like no, not that way. Not getting an answer without these two things as of now.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
So may I try?
Yeah.
So
do I write the code in the chat box or?
Yeah, you can write the code and then I just copy it and paste it on the portal.
So this might take a second now. So 1 second.
Okay, so there are 2 of you who have given it. Abhinash has given me one, and I'll share that also. So that seems to be correct. Okay, no if statements.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, can we use modular?
Exam, can we use any of the weak concepts, or it will be mentioned that we can't use this weak concept in this question or something like that?
See, here you can use anything, but we don't. If you are allowed to use if else, this is nothing, right? I mean, this is a very simple problem. Since we have not technically introduced if else in week 1, we want you to try it using some other way.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay.
So just give me a second. It's taking a bit of time.
Yeah. So in meanwhile, what I'll do is some of the others have given me the solution. So what I'll do is I'll share them. So this is solution given by Abhinash. Okay, so
So we need to give the solutions in the chat box, or we have to submit on the portal?
I mean, you can give it in the chat box so that I can share it with the rest of the class.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so this is.
So I've sent this a code in the chat box.
Okay, but you have used the weak concepts that is not just week 2 but far beyond week 2.
So I thought so. Data type dictionary was in week 1. Is it not?
No, dictionary is in week 6.
data type.
Data
Right.
type
So
is
so we
indicate.
can just exclude the dictionary, right? Like I don't think we need to. I don't know. So 1 second.
Okay, so I'll take up Avinash solution. So can Avinash, can you maybe unmute and explain why this should work?
Yes, sir. So since there's a question asked us to find the absolute difference between any two numbers. So first two lines are self-explanatory. We're taking the inputs and converting into int. So for difference for absolute, what I have done is so multiplication of any two positive and positive and positive and negative is always positive. So that's the idea I used. So anyway, the difference of any two numbers would have the same sign. So either it would be positive and positive or negative and negative. So ultimately it will be positive. And I've taken a square root of that, and yeah, that will give the absolute difference as well. That's what we want.
Got it. Okay, so I misspelled your name. So yeah, this is a very good solution. And so did everyone get what is happening here?
But
Sir,
just
if
one
you'll be
doubt over
mind,
here.
yeah,
Yeah,
even I'm
it
having
probably
that.
gave output in float. So we need to convert it again. That's it.
Yeah, it's converted, right? In the
Yeah.
print I've converted.
Yeah.
Use int
Yeah,
in
fine,
front of
fine,
it.
fine. Yes. Thank you.
Okay, so we just try this, test this so that we know it's working. So all public test cases have passed, and all private test cases have also passed, right? So this is one solution. I just repeat what Minash mentioned. So for any number x, any integer x, you consider whether it's negative or positive, x square is going to be a positive number, and if you take the square root of that, right, that will give you x, not x, mod x, or the absolute value of x, right?
Yes.
And just to avoid the floating point 0 at the end, we are doing this int of mod x, right? So that's what is happening. So if you want to break this down into 3 steps, just for clarity, I would put it as step 1 is square the number, so square the difference rather. So what is the difference? Difference is a minus b. So a minus b whole square. So difference square. Okay, I square the difference. The second step is to take the square root. So square root is nothing but difference square power 0.5, right? This you raise it to the exponent 0.5. And step 3 is you convert the number to an integer, which is int root. I call it int root, and it's nothing but int of root. Okay, I mean it's the same thing, just decompressing it or expanding the whole thing. Okay, so is this clear? This solution clear? These 3 steps?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
okay.
sir.
All right. So this is a good solution. Anyone else does anyone else have anything which is?
So I've got one solution, but it's not as good as this one. But the thing is, we can use x and define it as an integer input, y as a integer input.
Okay.
Then z we take a difference, and then we convert that z to string, and then we use the slicer to print the second character.
No, but if it is positive, then it will skip the first character, which is not a negative sign.
Oh yes. Oh, yeah, sorry.
Okay.
So I sent one code in the chat box. So can you please check?
Okay. Okay, this is the one, right? So Abhinash is here. This is the one, right?
So third last one. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This one.
All right. Yeah, this is also fine, right? So here, what you are essentially doing is you are using a Boolean value to cut short one of the two, right? Right. So this might take a little more time to understand, because booleans true or false have the value 1 and 0 in Python, right? So that is something you need to know.
So that's why I use the dictionary one, but dictionary is not. So I thought कि dictionary first इसमें होगा week में, but
Yeah, right. So this is one more. Yeah, so that should also work, right? Now moving on, we have okay. So who would like to volunteer? Can you please unmute, and whoever goes first, we can start doing this. Anyone would like to volunteer?
So
who already attempted, will they can?
Yeah, no, someone who has not.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to know, there are so many people on the
I
call.
can.
Yeah, who's this?
Arati.
Okay, Arti, I'll send you the invite. What I will do is, I'll remove some of them here. Okay, so Aruna, maybe you can go next, okay? For problem 1.6.
Sir, can I clarify one thing?
Yeah.
Sir, it is that we use that the square root function will give what the absolute value. It is like the way Python is programmed, right? Like it is meant to give the positive value only.
Yeah. So even generally in mathematics, you by square root you mean positive value, right? So you say a square root of 4 is 2 and not -2. So Python just replicates that behavior. I mean, it follows that behavior that is common in mathematics.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So while you log in, what I'll do is just quickly read out the problem. So you are given a string and two integers, start and end. So you will have to get hold of this substring and repeat it a certain number of times, so that the resulting string is longer than the input string. Okay, so that's the idea.
So sir, can I code?
Yeah, please. You please speak as you code, so that
Okay, sir. So first we will take the input. After that, we will take the substring from that word. Then we will compute the length of the word and length of substring. After that, we will find how many times we want to repeat that string, that substring. So for that, I am using like repeat is equal to length word divided by length of substring plus 1.
So can we use loops here?
No, anything that has not been taught. See, You can use anything. I mean, you can even use functions or lambda functions, anything.
Yeah, yeah.
But the idea is to not scare away beginners. So we should not.
Okay, 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 sir.
And then we will print the output. Okay, sir.
Okay, so your Arati, right? Am I
Yes.
pronouncing it? Okay, so yeah. So can you fix that error?
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Okay. So can you tell me a few things? I think this is the correct piece of code. So let me type some input. Let's say Python 1.3. Okay, so YTH. Okay, you get some output. So can you tell me the following things? Why have you used y plus 1?
That is because we are given the last character, the position of last character to be taken. But in Python, we need to use the very next indexing, so that we will get that string till before that.
Got it. Okay, that is fine. So that is correct. Next question is first time you had written this, right? Normal
Yeah.
division,
Yeah.
and then you added this extra dash back.
Sir.
Why did you do that?
That is because we can do it using normal division also, but then I thought of using floor division so that we will directly get the integer output.
Okay, got it. Okay, and why this plus 1? Why not just have it as length of word by substring?
In case the length of word is 6 and the length of substring is 2, when we divide 6 by 2, we will get 3. And on printing the substring, and printing the output, the length of output will end up being 6. But we need at least one more than the original word. The number of characters in the words in the printed output should be one more than the word.
Okay, very good. So that's the correct answer. So one observation that I request the class to make is that you must reach this level of proficiency where you can essentially write a piece of code without running it even once, right? And that is the level that you all should aim to achieve. Okay, so here notice all two have passed, and also all 5 private test cases have passed, right? So this is one very good solution for this problem.
Sir, can
Right?
you the code one?
You want me to explain it once?
Yes.
Sir, I also have one query in this question.
Yeah.
Sir, because if I go through the question, I can come up with the till the making of new string. But from where from the question where we can find, okay, we have to find it all these strings, and then we have to make this all divisions and all, and output need to be like this only.
Yeah, so till this point, I think it should be clear how you are getting the substring.
Yes, sir.
So from this, what you have to do is, see, the idea is to, in the question, what is asked is you need to replicate. So the term that is used is replicate the
Okay.
substring, meaning if the substring is, if the string is say Python, or let's take something which is more, okay, let's say the string is atomic and my substring is Tom. Okay, so I need to replicate the substring. So if I replicate it once, I get Tom. If I replicate it twice, I get Tom. So this is TOM. So now notice that this is of length 6. This is of length 6. So what the question is asking is, give me that string replicated at least some x times, right? replicate the string at least x number of or k number of times, so that the replicated string is longer than the input string. So I replicate this 3 times so that tom is longer than atomic. So if I replicate it only twice, I just get the same length as atomic, which is not what I want. So I need to replicate it one more time.
Okay.
So the solution uses this strategy that if my original string is of length, say capital L, and my substring is of length, say small l, okay, then what we are essentially asking is how many times should I multiply my small string n into x, n into k, right? So note that k is the value. How many times should I multiply n so that the resulting value is greater than, strictly greater than n? Okay, from this you arrive at the value that k should be greater than n by k, right? So n is capital N, remember, is the whole string's length. So that is how you get this length of word by length of substring. Sorry, n by small n. Okay, if this is not very clear, maybe n and n may be confusing. So what can we use? Capital L is the length of the string, and small l is the length of the substring. Now k is the minimum number of repetitions. So what the equation or the inequality that I want is L into k greater than capital L, meaning k should be greater than capital L by small l. Is this clear so far?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if capital L is exactly divisible by L, then you have a problem, right? So k will, so in that case, what will happen is that you cannot set k to be exactly equal to capital L by small l. So what you do is, the next line you do an integer or floor division of this, right? And make sure that you add 1 to it. That is what this repeat is all about.
Right, sir. Right, sir.
Okay, so I hope everyone got this. When you look at this first, it might seem confusing. Where did all these things come from? But there is a certain reason why we are doing all this, right? All right. So I think there was someone who had volunteered last time. Who is this? Aruna Gupta. So Aruna Gupta, would you like to go for the last one?
Sir, in this also we can't use loops.
No. So see, the standing instruction is the
or recursion.
Why would you see? We haven't. See, I'll tell you this. This is a very important thing that we all should know. I could use some high funda concept which simplifies the whole thing. I could use lambda functions. I could use some other kind of programming construct, generators, iterators. I could throw in all these terms, but this would drive a lot of people away, right? So the aim of the sessions is to help beginners code in Python, right? So it's meant for those who have not coded in Python before. So strictly whatever programming constructs you use should be limited to that particular week, because others will not understand, right? So for example, if you use loops or recursion, how you are not coding for yourself alone, right? You are coding for the entire class. So the hope is that what you do is understandable by others in the class. right? And if that is not the case, then the whole point of the session is defeated.
So do we have to compute the value of this expression by hand and then put it in the program?
I mean, whatever you have, see, if you already know Python, then maybe you can use loops, you could use recursion. I am not saying that you have to force yourself to solve it some other way. So that's why I'm saying that this particular question, at least in the first few weeks, will be, the method we'll use is concept introduced in a particular week.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, in the previous question, I have done with the method in which I am getting 4 test cases passed. But sir, I wanted to know where I am going wrong.
Okay, please paste your code in the
Sir,
chat.
I have pasted it before in the chat box.
Okay, can you tell me what time you pasted?
Sir.
2:55, I think.
Sir, it's sir 4:25.
4:25. 3:25, you mean? I mean, or no, we haven't even come there, no. So
Sir, it's in my PC, it's showing 4:25.
okay, so I think in mine it's showing 2:55. I believe it's more accurate. So
it's 2:55.
Yeah, tell me if this is your code.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so another piece of, I won't say advice, again, it's up to you, but suggestion is to always have a space before and after operators, right? That makes your code more readable. So okay.
Sir, we are not following the page styling here.
We are, right? So to some extent at least. So all this having a space before and after operators part of the styling guide, I believe.
Yeah.
To an extent we'll follow, but not.
So
Yeah.
So we are doing the week 1 content right here?
Yeah, week 1 practice tests.
Okay, sir.
Okay,
Actually,
Ravina, right?
I have done it, but I think that there is some difference between the one I am having or the one you are just now doing that.
Oh, okay. We'll come to that. So we are looking at this solution, which is maybe not passing all test cases. So we are trying to debug. Okay, it's passing 4 out of 5. Okay, so can you explain your code, Ravina, right?
Yes, sir.
Can you explain this till this part? So this is also very clear. Everything else is clear, but I am not able to understand what you have done here. So can you explain that?
Sir, this is the length of the string and I have added 1 to it.
All right, okay.
And then I have divided it with the, this is the substring that we have taken num1 and num2 is the starting and the ending point of the substring. Then I have subtracted it and then I have added it to 1 so that I can take it whole length.
Okay, this is correct. Okay.
Divided it whole.
Okay, this is fine. So this is just the length of the substring. That's essentially what you're saying, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I guess the problem then has to be with you are adding 1 here. So why do you add 1 here?
Sir,
So
the code was not running, so I added 1 here.
okay, so this 1 should ideally come outside, right? So so if you notice, I think this should work for. So you must see, you must not add things at the random places. Okay, so you must have a justification of why you are adding +1. Okay, so and you must add it at the right place.
Because sir, we have to means we have to execute one string more than what we have got. So
I think she has put a redundant bracket here somewhere. I think it's after len of st.
Yeah, I
no,
think that was because that plus one was there, but yeah. This, yeah, so the reason it was not working earlier was that plus one. Okay, the plus one was in the wrong place.
Okay, sir, I got it. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. All right. So, okay. So, anyone who would like to? Okay, there are many of you who have given the solution already. So one of you who has.
But sir.
Yeah.
The one question I have, in for this code, in line number 5, probably if numbers we might get like float values, right? 1.25 or 2.25, something like that.
Yeah.
Then how are we avoiding that? I mean, how are we avoiding that issues here?
So that is why we are converting it into an integer. So the
Okay. Yeah.
Sir, can you repeat the logic of this one?
Okay, so for the logic, I will just go back to the previous code. Okay, I can't. So I'll just refactor this because that's easier. So I'll maybe take an example, okay, that rather than just okay. So it doesn't matter where your substring is, right? So only the length of your substring matters. So this is length what? This is length 8, right? So let's say you have a substring of size 3. Okay, so how many times should you have to repeat it?
3 times.
3 times, right? So from where do you get the 3 is the question. So if you can figure out that number 3, then you are done. Okay, so the first question you ask is, how many times does this substring go inside this original string? So for that, what you do is, you divide 8 by 3 and take the lower bound, right? So 8 by 3 is what? 6 point something, right? 6 point whatever. Let's say 6.2, right? It might be wrong.
It will 2.6 something.
2.6.
Oh, sorry. So it's 2.6. So 2.6, right? So what you do is, you are, so roughly, let's say it's 2.5 times. So ABC, if you add it, if you multiply it 2 times and then say half of it, then you will get 8, right? So what you're suggesting here is, let me truncate the decimal part. So ABC will go inside ABCDEFGH completely exactly 2 times, right? So ABC, ABC. The moment I add one more ABC, it is going to exceed ABCDEFGH.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that is what this whole operation is. So length of the string SST by length of the string, okay, and the integer part of it. So you could either do float division, or alternatively, what you could do is, you could do length of substring divided by length of substring. Both are the same. In this case, both will amount to the same thing. And then you add +1 to make sure that you exceed the string. Okay, is that clear?
Sorry, sir, can you repeat the last line?
Which one?
The sub one.
So you're essentially seeing how many times the substring will, go inside the string. So how many units of the substring can I pack into the string? I can only pack 2 items, 2 units of ABC in ABCDEFGH. Okay. If I pack one more unit, it will overflow. And that is what I want. I want it to overflow, just overflow. Okay, so maybe you can think about it a bit more and you will be able to get the answer. Okay, so I have got many answers for this. Okay. I'll take up something that is easy on the mind first. Okay, I think the easiest on the mind is what Iqbal has written. I will take that. Okay, as some of you have pointed out, you can remove the absolute value, but the rest of the solution is fine.
But sir, it is mentioned in the question the positive integer here.
Yeah, so we will give you a positive integer, so you don't need to convert it. So yeah, when we say accept a positive integer, what we really mean is that we will give you a positive integer. So the positive integer will be given at the console. You please accept.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is the code. It has passed all public test cases and it has passed all, it should pass all private test cases. So other solutions are also correct, but I took this because this is the official solution in some sense, and this is how we wanted you to think about the whole process. Of course, you can club the whole thing in one single line of statement, but
No, in this one, so the solution that you have just shown,
yeah,
sir, is this has 5 variable declarations, right?
right.
So to make this more efficient, wouldn't it be more prudent to just use cfrac and keep rewriting the value of cfrac every time?
Yeah.
You just first you write cfrac is equal to x plus 1 by x, then you write cfrac is equal to x plus 1
But
upon
it is
cfrac.
suitable and
Yeah,
readable.
I use the same thing.
Then,
I just
then you
pasted
just
my
then
code.
you just copy and paste that four or 5 times, however many times it's
Right.
required,
Yeah, that is valid. Yeah.
So that would be more efficient because the compiler won't have to use 5 different variables and allot 5 different
Yeah,
variables.
yes, sir. Why to use so
But
many
it
variables
is
actually?
readable, na?
Yeah, see, at this stage, right, again, I would like to stress this. At this, the idea of efficiency or in terms of the time taken for the system to evaluate or execute your code, or the space requirement, all these things we will study in detail in PDSA, the next course in the series. Okay, so our concern here is to more or less get something going, right? So are you able to write a simple piece of code, right? So in week one, at least, yeah.
So can you check my code? I have pasted in the window widget cfrac thing only, but it is readable, quite readable.
Right, yeah. So I'm not suggesting that that approach is not readable, or certainly that is maybe more efficient. But yeah, so this is not wrong. Okay, so especially for someone writing code in week one, this is not wrong. So before we move to other solutions,
Sir,
yeah.
Before you move on to other solutions, can you please explain me about this problem? First of all, I couldn't understand the problem clearly. Can you
Okay,
please
see, we
explain?
just need to compute this expression here. Okay, for a given value of x, so you have to accept some value of x as an integer and compute this expression.
X plus 1, x plus 1, x plus 1, x plus 1,
yeah.
x plus 1.
So the way Iqbal has approached it, and the way we really think you should approach this problem, is to go from bottom to top, right? So you notice that x plus 1 by x is probably the simplest computation you can do. And then you recognize a pattern. It's x plus 1 by something, it's x plus 1 by something, and so on and so forth, certain number of times. Here you do it, I think 5 times or something. So that's exactly what has been done. So it's x plus 1 by x is a, then it's x plus 1 by a, and so on.
So that means that actually the expression is that x plus 1 by, and then the denominator just again x plus 1 by, again denominator 1 x plus 1 by. That is what you're saying.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That is denominator. The first, I mean, the all the from second line to fifth line, all are like denominator in the.
Yeah, these are all denominators. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry, sir. Yeah. Now I got it.
Okay, so now we'll go to other solutions. I think as Kavita and someone else also mentioned, this is another solution which is also valid. Okay, so this is without having to use the other variables. All right, maybe you can even get rid of the float part, because by default the result will be a float.
Right.
Okay, so these are two solutions. The other solution is.
So I guess in this one, first of all, we need to define cfrac equals to x plus 1 by x. Then we will.
Sorry. Yeah.
And so then you also have to remove one of this.
Yeah, actually, I got an error. That's why
cfrac is equal to x. So in this code, you can just write cfrac is equal to x and it'll just run.
Right.
If you write cfrac is equal to 1 x upon 1 x plus 1 upon x, then you have to remove one of the lines.
Actually, for the same reason, sir, I had put that cfrac equal to that float of x.
Float x.
Because I was getting an error otherwise.
Okay, so I will now take up one of
no. In any ways, we have to take it division 6 times, no? So it's 5 times as of now. So just we need to add up one more line like x equals x by x plus 1 by x only.
Right.
In line number 3.
Okay, so you can see you can figure that out. You need to do as many times as there are levels in this nested fraction.
So
okay,
obviously the one-liner solution would be just to write the whole expression as a as brackets and such.
Right.
Like this one, yes.
This is not wrong, but this is another.
But the brackets have to be correct, right?
Not just that. I mean, it's less readable. So in terms of readability, this is not the preferred solution, but this is not wrong at the end of the day. So this is the third solution, or rather second solution. Okay, so I think.
So can you run it, please, as one?
Yeah. Oh,
I think you're missing a bracket here.
No, actually, it will take as a cfrac, and we are giving as an print command. It will take care of print by itself.
Yeah, it will not accept printing. Yeah, it will not
yeah.
accept.
So it is your code only. I just took your code, but yeah, you have to call this cfrac as we have mentioned.
No, sir, one bracket is missing.
Sir, I don't think this is good practicing. So you have to remember so many parentheses.
It's getting past now.
Okay, why is it passing?
So there's one bracket missing, right? You x plus 1 by x के बाद सर एक bracket भी तो आएगा.
Initial bracket before x.
No, not this one. Inside the last x plus 1 by x part.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after this slash.
Okay. So yeah, can you paste the solution again? That way it's easier. So
he's saying that the innermost bracket, like we need the bracket in.
Yes, right, I pasted my solution, which is similar to this.
The reason we are avoiding the solution is precisely this reason. Of not having to okay, so kindly avoid the solution, but this is not wrong. Okay, so if you know what you're doing, you can always do this, but yeah.
So sir, throughout the course we should focus on expanding the code more readable, like as a freshers I am asking.
Yeah. So see, yeah, for someone who is new to coding, there are three levels that you have to focus on. One is correctness. So your first concern should be that your code is correct, right? Forget about everything else. First, get your code working. Okay. The next step is readability, right? There's no point writing very efficient, super efficient code which is not readable. Okay. And third, which is very important again, we are not denying the use of efficiency, but this we will take up in the next course. Okay, it's called programming data structures and algorithms. So in this course intro, our focus will entirely be on learning to write basic Python scripts or basic Python code, correct Python code.
Okay, sir.
Okay, and this will be the most important aspect in the next course. So by that time, our hope is that some of you or most of you have uh, are very comfortable with the language and can write correct readable code. So you're ready for the next adventure of efficiency or making your code optimal and all that, right? So please stick to this process of 1, 2, 3, especially if you're a beginner.
Yes. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir, in this question, we have to repeat the this method for a specific number of times. But if we have to repeat it for like infinite time, then how we need to stop this?
So you can't do it infinite times, but you can do it for a finitely many times. But this finite number can be specified at the time of running the code. So that is when loops come in, which we learn in week 3. How to use loops to solve this problem.
Okay, sir. So for that we need loops now.
Yeah, that's what I said. So we'll have to come to loops, which will happen in week 3.
Sir, hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I'm telling the same thing. Suppose if we have more than 5 denominator, so how can you print in one line?
Yeah. So if it is an
That's why, sir, I have assumed 5 variables here.
Right. So but the point that others are making, which is also valid, is that you can do it using just one variable, no matter how many levels.
Suppose, sir, there are 20 denominators. Then how can you print?
Then I can do it, right? So for example, I am not able to go back. Let me go back to this. Someone had. I go to the chat window and get hold of the CFRAC code. So if there are 20, right, and if you don't know what loops are, what you will do is you will just paste this 20 times. I have a block of 10. You will just add one more block. Right? I mean, roughly, I don't know if it is exactly 20, and that's not an issue, but this is what the others were mentioning, right? So the benefit of using CFRAC instead of 5 different variables.
Yes.
Sir, one
but
question.
sir, using same name, I don't think it is good practice.
No. So see, in this case, it happens to be a valid practice. Okay, so you are not using the same name without a reason. Here it makes sense, but in certain other cases it won't make sense. So this is not a general rule of reusing. So you can reuse variable names provided you are in the right context. Here it's actually a very good use of that practice.
Sir, in this case, this is the only efficient use of, only efficient practice, considering that we have been given more than 5 iterations or 10 iterations or something.
Yeah, here it is a very good suggestion to use a single variable name, but here I would say yes, there is no question of doubting the benefit of a single variable name. Okay, so there is another reason also when you want to extend it to a fixed and undefined number of levels. then you'll be forced to use a single variable name. Okay, but we'll come to that. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, but yeah, this is a point to note. All right, so that officially completes the problems that we had. So
Sir,
yeah.
Sir, I have one question. I I did the coding for the 1.6 question only, same question. For one case, it is giving me correct answer. Like for test case 2, 3.30 is the expected output, and actual output also I'm getting 3.30.
Okay.
For first case test case 1, expected output is 2.41, but I'm getting 2.42.
Okay, can you paste your code?
Yeah, sure.
Chessboard. Okay, have you done it for the correct number of steps?
Sir, he's used A is equal to 1 by X. It should be A is equal to X.
Okay. So
Sir, he needs one variable here.
I think you are missing out on one of the levels. So if you're following this multi-step approach, it's can you explain how we have written this? That will help us solve the problem.
So actually, I started from the last one. So x plus 1 by x is the denominator we have, right? At the last step. So I considered like 1 by x as a. So when it comes to a1, it becomes like x plus 1 by x, right?
X, so it should be x
So it should be x
A.
plus A, right? Because you
right.
considered A to be 1 by X.
Okay. Yeah.
Either you write A is equal to X and A1 is equal to X plus 1 by A, or the other way around.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
So you can now fix it, I believe.
Yeah, right now it has like x plus 1 by 1 by x. Right?
Yeah, it's x plus, it's actually 2x now.
In essence, A1 has become 2x.
Yes, sir. It give me correct output. Thanks, guys. Yeah.
Okay, so are there any
Sir,
other
can we ask questions from GRPA programming assignments?
No graded assignments. Shall we
Well,
discuss?
I had some doubts from PPA.
Which week's PPA?
Week 1.
Week 1 means we can take it.
Yes, sir. Sir, PPA 1 and PPA 2.
So
yeah.
Sir, if in graded assignments or private tests are passing 5 out of 5, then the code is correct.
Yeah, then you can assume that it is correct. Yeah.
Okay, so because there are some concepts which we are applying according to week 1, but they can be done by other contents also if you know Python. So we have to use only week 1 content in that, or we can use if we know Python.
No. So if you know, see, we are not going to test what concepts you use in your assignment. So my point is only about live session. So when you are discussing something in a live session with some of your peers who are beginners, then please avoid using concepts from other weeks. But when you're solving the problems in the graded assignment, use whatever method you know. I mean, there's no restriction there.
Okay, sir.
Okay, Shreya, is it who was asking a question before this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What is your concern here?
Sir, I am not able to start the code for this.
Okay. So you have to print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So essentially all that you have to do is just print this in one number on each line.
Okay, sir. By directly putting the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. And sir, for the third PPA, I have done it, but it is not passing any private test.
Okay, can you paste your code here?
Yes, sir. Just a minute.
Okay. We copy it.
So A has to be an input, right?
Wait, I'll copy it. Yeah, see what you have to do is you should not solve the problem for a particular input alone. You have to accept a general input and process that. Okay, so this has to be
Input.
input of, and then you have to print the output onto the console. Okay, so yeah.
So like when we're doing GRPAs, when we are test running our code, whatever we've written, when we are test running it, does the amount of times we test run, or like how many times it was wrong or how many times it was right? I mean, do those count towards the marks that we receive in the end?
No. We won't.
Or how many submissions we make, or which all submissions were incorrect, or which ones were correct?
No, that doesn't have any effect. Only the number of private test cases that you pass makes the difference.
No, yes, I get that. I mean, if I made two submissions, right, and one of them in one of them I get like 4 out of 5 private test cases, and in the second one I get 5 out of 5, then would my marks be any less, or like would my marks be deducted in any way or anything?
No, your most recent submission will only be considered.
So the previous ones wouldn't matter, right?
Yeah, if your most recent submission is only considered, then even if you have submitted 100 times before, they don't matter.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Sir, so whether readability will be considered for graded assignments?
No. It won't be considered for any grading, but the idea is to learn to write readable code.
Okay.
So it was said that the average of our practice assignments and mock assignments, if it is greater than 40, we will get some bonus marks. It was in the grading assignment, grading. It was a PDF, like it showed how we are going to be graded in this term.
Yeah.
So, sir, will the PPAs also count towards that?
Yeah.
Okay, so PPA and the normal practice theory for an assignment and the mocks, right?
Yeah.
So 3 things.
Yeah.
A PPA would count towards what?
That bonus mark thing we are supposed to,
So
greater
the
than
bonus
40.
marks is also applicable for this Python also.
Of course, man.
Sir, I have doubt in PPA 5.
Okay, PPA 5. Yeah.
Sir, for this, can we write A is equals to string bracket and input something? Because I'm not able to understand what we have to take it data type, like string or.
Yeah, so by default, this input function returns only a string. So you don't need to say str of input of. That is redundant. You can just stick to input of. Okay. That is all you need to do to accept 2 inputs and then process whatever has been asked. Okay,
Sir, I have a small doubt, but it's not related with this. Like how to enter the full stop after the word. The code according to week 1. I just want to know that according to week 1, how can we enter a full stop after a word?
By string concatenation.
Yeah, so I will just. So how do you add a space between 2 words is I like this. So I think full stop will follow similarly from this.
So we've been taught this in week 1.
Yeah, strings. We have
String operations.
Yeah.
And some built-in functions of strings.
There are some string methods which we'll be covering in week 2, I think.
In week 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sir,
Sir, can we use comma, sir?
Comma for what?
For adding to string, can we use comma?
Oh yeah. So you're talking about this particular syntax, right? But this only returns a tuple. So which one are you saying? So something like this, is it? Can you tell me what you are looking for?
First, what one is equal to say A and what two is equal to B, and I want to add A and B. Can we print word A, word 1, comma word 2?
So he's saying word 1 comma word 2 is equal to A comma B.
Oh, you are trying to say print word 1 comma word 2, is it?
No, so the assignment one. So for assignment, word 1 comma word 2 is equal to like 1 comma, yeah, A comma B, whatever.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, sir. You just print word 1.
No.
What
Can
is
you
Yes,
repeat
sir.
the question?
Sir, adding is 2 strings, sir, and some space between them.
Okay. So this is also valid. I mean, if it is a space, then it's enough if you say print word 1 comma word 2. But if you want to add something else, some other character between word 1 and word 2, then you'll have to do whatever that character is in word 2.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
okay.
Okay.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, I'm unable to understand that chessboard question.
Chessboard question, we'll come to that in Thursday session. So Thursday session is 7 to 9. That will be all about chessboards and all that we'll discuss that.
Okay, sir.
I pasted the code of PPA 7. Can you please check and tell me why is it wrong?
Okay. PPA 7. Except 5 digits.
I have taken the particular input. So in place of it, if I have to put it as input, so what do I have to write?
The same thing as you saw before, right? You have to just replace, you have to accept an input from the console, as they call it.
So sir, we don't have to write int.
No, you should not. In fact, if you write int, it will throw an error. Do you see why?
So why?
Think about it. So for integers, there is no concept of indexing. So you can only index a string. When you convert something to an integer, what will happen is, so if x is equal to 1, 2, 3, x of 0 will throw a type error. Or sorry, x equal to 1, 2, 3, x of 0 will throw what is called a type error. So it's saying int object is not subscriptable. So another way of saying it is that you cannot index a integer. Because if x is 1, 2, 3, then x of 0 makes sense.
So sir, what is the data type of it? Like I don't understand.
Sorry, what is the
Data type?
Okay, data type of
X. Like is it a string or a?
so that's the other thing. So whenever you accept input from the console, it's always a string. You can only accept strings.
Okay, sir.
Okay, any other questions, anyone?
Yes, sir, I have a question. Just a suggestion I wanted to say. Sir, in the dashboard in the editor where we are writing the code, I mean, every time we are increasing the text size, it's getting reduced when we reload, which is different from Replit. Once we set it, it's just set. But here,
Correct.
if we go to some other page, it's kind of getting reduced to default.
Okay, so you want some kind of a memory.
Yeah, is it possible to do?
I don't know. I mean, but we can look into that. So I also find it difficult to zoom in every time. Yeah, so there should be some default zoom level.
Okay.
If we can set that, it will be nice.
Okay. All right.
Okay, is there anything else? If not, we'll close.
Sir, I have one doubt. Not one doubt, is a request.
Yeah.
See, I'm in diploma programming, and I need to take both computational thinking and Python programming in a mandatory, right? So the Thursday, both CT and Python is scheduled at the same time. So it is difficult to attend both, probably impossible. So is there a way to address this thing?
Okay. Okay, we'll get back to you. I don't know. I mean, this is new to me. This is the first diploma batch, right? So this is happening for the first time. I'll speak to the concerned team members and I will let you know.
Yeah, thank you.
Right. Anyone else? Any other questions? If not, we can. So there are so many people on the call. I don't know what they're all doing.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, for giving space between two strings, like we have to give it by space between two quotes. But for me, it's not working. The code is not working.
Okay. Can you paste your code here?
Yes, sir. 1 minute. Yes, sir. I pasted.
Yeah. I'll copy it and paste it here so that everyone can see. Yeah.
So there is no space in between, no?
So space required in the.
Yeah. So that was the issue. You had entered
Okay.
a null string, as they call it, or empty string.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? If not, I'm going to ask people randomly
Hello.
there on the call. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there is one question like you have to give the input into the like from the console you need to take the input with comma separated. So for that I have got a special function called as split. So do we need to use the split function or is there any way out like based on week 1 what we have learned?
There is a way. So based on week 1, you can. So this is what a graded assignment question, right?
Yeah, it's a graded assignment.
Yeah. So you can't say more, but you don't need to know what the split function is to do that problem.
Okay, but sir, we are not told about that, like to how to get the input with a comma separated input. We can use
we can use string splicing, right?
Yeah, but because it's graded assignment, I don't want any more discussion on that. So
okay, sir.
Yeah, you have to figure it out. That part you have to figure it out.
Okay, sir.
Excuse me, sir. When is chessboard problem discussion is scheduled?
It is, I think, week 2 problem PPA, one of the PPA 9, I think.
Okay.
No, PPA what 8. This is the problem. So we'll discuss it on Thursday.
Okay.
Okay,
So
so
what is the bishop in it?
bishop, that you can Google. So bishop is one of the chess pieces on the chessboard. So you'll have to, you can Google that and look for it.
Okay, sir. And sir, I have a general question that we are taking means I'm especially taking 1 hour for solving each question. So it's this duration is very much long. So how to reduce it? Means I'm unable to solve the questions frequently, easily. Means it's taking lots of time to solve the questions.
That's fine. I don't think that's a problem. So see, are you able to solve them on your own at the end of the day? Is that happening?
Yes, sir. But it's taking very much time.
That is, see, it's like learning a new language. I mean, you are essentially learning a new language and you have to get used to the vocabulary of that particular language. So it's going to take time, and don't be.
And sir, is it going to be much difficult in the coming weeks?
Yes, so much difficult in the sense it will get gradually, the level of difficulty will improve, sorry, increase, but at some point it will plateau. So the every week will not introduce you to totally new words or new Python constructs. Say till week 4, if you can somehow manage till week 4, if you can somehow manage, then weeks 5 to 12 is more or less like a repetition of the vocabulary that you build in the first 4 weeks.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
So
yeah.
So in that question where we had to calculate the sum or product, was it? I mean, where the string was separated by commas, the numbers were separated by commas, and we had to calculate the sum or product, whichever I'm forgetting.
Yeah.
So in that, so I have used a loop, so that wouldn't deduct my marks or anything, right?
No, you can use anything you want. That's what I said, right? In the live sessions, you have to avoid using anything beyond week I if you are at week I. But in your assignments, it doesn't matter because no one is going to.
So all so the submission to the so whatever you guys use for checking the code, so that only checks the whether the code is working or not, right? Does not see how we're doing it or.
Yeah, that won't check what you are doing. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Thank you, sir.
So
Yeah.
So actually in few codes there is written like you have to use the week 1 content for solving this question. Only in those questions we need to pay attention about the week 1 we are using or not, or the rest we can do if we know.
See, you insert some questions we will design our system in such a way that you can't use a particular concept. For example, we'll ask you to sort a list of numbers few weeks down the line. At that time, we'll disable the sorting facility that Python offers. So there will be explicit, but otherwise, the reason we are saying use week 1 concept is just to challenge you to see, even if you know Python, to challenge you to think from first principles. That is the only idea. Otherwise, you can use anything you want actually.
So in this week, like where we've been given that you would be able to solve this using concepts covered in week 1. That doesn't count, right?
I mean, you can use anything you want, but the
it would be preferable if I used week 1.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so it is all about we have to think out of box or something like how to solve it from week 1 if we already know some codes regarding Python.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to get more benefit from this course, or see, if you already know Python, then technically you don't need this course, right? I mean, apart from the idea of this course being an important requirement for completing the degree, you technically don't need to sit through all this, right? But given that you are sitting through the whole course, it will be good if you can think about different ways of solving a problem. That is the whole idea.
So when we are using week one concepts, like so we are not keeping in mind efficiency and whether the code is long or not. So we don't have to keep in mind things like that, right?
Yeah, you don't need to. In fact, so a beginner will not keep those things in mind. So we don't expect any of these things. How long the code is,
Right.
how efficient it is.
Okay. Okay, sir.
So one last thing. So sometimes when we solve from week one content and some sort of mistakes happens and the code does not pass. So can we try it consistently as the attempts will not be counted?
Yeah. The number of submissions is not an issue. So the auto grader at the back end is memoryless. So it only knows about your final submission in some sense.
Okay, sir. Because I was trying the week one that content, which is week one content. I'm trying to code with that. So sometimes a problem happens, but I'm able to solve it with the other way. But then I consistently tried it on this portal. So there is no limit for the submissions, right?
Yeah, no limit.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Sir, we have another session starting up. So can we go now?
Yeah. So I'm also going to close the session now.
So one last question.
Yeah.
One last question. In the proctored exam that we'll be having, we'll be having the same portal that we have right now?
Yeah, it will be the same thing.
And the rules will be the same, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So
thank you, sir, for
thanks
a
for
wonderful
joining.
session.
Thank you. We'll close.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.